What's going on, people? Matt here. Just waiting for Natalie to jump on. Getting the day started. We got Tim Hortons donut leftovers. Got coffee, got water. Everything you need. Here we are. Mm-mm-mm. Oh.
What's up?
What's going on? I was debating wearing my Rome crew neck too, but I
Wrap the
figured you'd be
round.
wearing it.
No, I was like, well, I gotta have the R. Gotta let people know.
I also didn't want to blend in with the wall behind me, so.
I'm realizing that might have been my
No,
issue.
you're good. You're good.
Oh,
Welcome,
morning,
people.
Matt.
Good morning. You have your coffee? I have my coffee.
Oh, I love that mug.
Thanks.
Mm.
Today's Coffee with Friends, episode 1. And let's talk about, quickly, what's in your mug. Let's talk about that.
All right, I'll start. How about that?
Yes.
This is my Pinto mug. I'm obsessed. I have inside of it Shady Lane from Quietly Coffee. So if anyone's ever been to Rome Coffee, we serve Quietly Coffee at the moment. And Shady Lane's from Mexico, and its tasting notes are supposed to be gal apple, pralines, and Maltesers.
Ooh.
Yes, it's very interesting, which is why I wanted to try it. We haven't sold this at Rome, so I'm sorry if people are like, oh, I'd like to buy that. I don't have it for sale. But we do have a great Ethiopia, a great Guatemala, and a great Brazil. But
Brazil is great.
Brazil is great. Today I'm picking up those Gala apple notes. Although I was going to say, usually when I brew this, it's totally Maltesers. Like, that's all I taste. It's like really malty, really kind of homey. But I tried a new recipe this morning and with my V60. And I'm picking up that Gala apple, and I'm a big fan.
Sweet.
What you got going on?
I haven't even had Shady Lane. I've had, I feel like, every other coffee.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is one of their staples.
Yeah, and I've just been missing out because I got their one staple, Ali and Lenny, and then
it's good.
I just haven't left. Today, shameless plug, this is Stock and Crown test batch number, can't remember, but this is a medium roast blend of 3 coffees, Nicaragua, Peru, and Mexico.
Ooh,
different. And extremely dark chocolatey today. But there's some like brightness that I'm kind of like, maybe it's because I made it on AeroPress, getting some different things. This is the first time I made it on AeroPress. So,
and those things
unreal.
I don't think people realize how your brewing method can completely change the flavor of your coffee.
Yeah, and this is the first one I've actually done on an AeroPress that we roasted, so I'm excited to. I got a lot more brewing methods I think I got to go through.
Yeah, you got to try them all
before I really like nail down all of the tasting notes and stuff. So, because right now I think the tasting note spectrum is like 5 to 10 things. I'm tasting all of these things, but you can't fit 10 notes on a bag. So
you get like 3 or 4 if you're really going for it.
Yeah.
The best.
Next question.
Yeah.
One of your favorite things right now in general? I already have mine in my head.
Oh, okay. In general, favorite things. I'm about to sound so boring and so basic. Avocado toast.
Okay. Any special recipe or anything?
This is how you do it. You get a slice of sourdough, and you get a big slice of sourdough, so big that you have to toast it in the oven. So you toast it in the oven. Then you don't laugh at me. So then you grab an avocado or half an avocado, depends on your avocado size and your avocado preference.
Yep.
While your sourdough's toasting, you're going to fry your egg in copious amounts of butter. And you're going to make sure it's over easy. You're going to season it with everything but the bagel seasoning from Trader Joe's if you have that American hookup.
Wow.
If not, I think you can find
Which
that.
you do.
Which I do. And then salt and pepper. And then avocado on the cubed avocado, slightly smashed on the bread, salt, pepper, fried egg on top. If there's a little extra butter, drizzle that bad boy on because we're all about the fat. That's it. That's the money. That's the recipe right there. You never need an avocado toast recipe again. That's the best.
That will sit heavy for a few hours.
It's true, but also we're in lockdown.
Keep you full. So it's good. You're at a pop-up all day. Like, what are you gonna? You need sustenance.
You do. What's your favorite
So did you have this morning?
No, well, not yet. Okay, this is so bad. I woke up very late, so I have not eaten yet, but usually I do.
Yeah, I have leftover Tim Hortons donut.
Stop it. Breakfast of
that's
champions
what I'm.
there, guys.
Yes.
We're all about that craft coffee and that Tim Hortons donut.
Leftover donut. My favorite thing right now. My birthday was yesterday.
Happy birthday!
I just so happened to have it charged here. My new massage gun.
Those are so good!
Which I'm so pumped about.
They're honestly incredible.
Shout out to my wife for knowing me so well.
Shout out to SK. That's the best.
So yeah, I'm on that heavy right now.
That's great.
So, topic of the day.
Yeah.
How do we get into coffee? And why do we love it? Did you have any thoughts? What's up, people? I'm seeing all these people's names.
It's so good to see everyone on here, by the way. Yeah. So I got also.
Good morning.
Thanks, Matt, for being so great at hosting this.
Also, if anyone else is drinking coffee, tell us. I want to know.
Yeah. What do you have in your cup? It is 10 a.m. though, so most human beings I feel like have already had their cup. But also, if you're in Ontario, you just got told that we're at stay-at-home orders, so anything freaking goes.
Yep.
For us.
Honestly.
Anything goes. My first coffee job was Starbucks.
Okay.
What was your first
Same
coffee
here.
job?
Same here.
Starbucks.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Listen.
I didn't know that was yours.
It was. I was 17. It was my second job, and I worked at this really cute, small, like, kids bookstore, but it was, like, not the best run because it was, like, an independent business. And so I wanted just, like, something that was going to be more steady. So I applied to the local Starbucks, got the job at the interview. 17-year-old me was hollering, and I worked at Starbucks for 7 years. No lie. I started in North Carolina. For anyone that doesn't know me, I'm from the States.
Shoot.
So I started in North Carolina. When I moved to California, I transferred. That's why I never quit. It was the best job. People, if you want a stable job and you do not care about the quality of the coffee, Starbucks is a great job, just as a job.
They treat their staff well, too.
They treat them well. I learned so much about customer service. I learned so much about teamwork. I was a shift supervisor. I learned so much about leading and working hard.
Yep.
I did not learn much about coffee, but everything else
I got a little bit of coffee knowledge, but it was like I found that it was kind of like varying between other people that I knew. We're getting like a little more time for education. It was like, it was just
they encourage like tasting, which is like coffee and like pair it with a pastry. But that's really for the fact of the upsell. They're not really doing it so that you can experience lots of different coffee flavors.
Right.
So that was my first job, and then I did not care about coffee at all when I started that job. And through the years, I started getting really into it, mostly when I moved out to California. And California has a huge coffee scene and had a ton of incredible cafes. and I just got to expose to craft coffee, to specialty coffee, and things I just didn't know were even possible with coffee. And so when I decided to leave Starbucks was when I moved. I was in Northern California. I moved down to Southern California to live at the beach for a while. And I got a job at this really cute craft coffee shop, Scout Coffee in San Luis Obispo, California. Smack dab between San Francisco and LA. If you guys ever go, you have to go. It was one of my favorite jobs ever.
It just sounds cool.
It's so cool. It's so fun. And
it could be like a shed in someone's backyard. It's still cool. I don't know.
If honestly,
cool.
I've never seen more coffee shops per capita than this teeny tiny town of 40,000. It's insane. So
the dream.
It was the best. It was the dream. It was the dream.
Right.
I learned so much from there, and I had always known that I wanted to go into business and create something businessy. And it was at Scout that I really recognized that there was value in coffee besides just caffeine. And even besides like a drive-through situation, because there wasn't one. Like, it was very slow in comparison to my Starbucks experience. It was a completely different model, but there was so much value in the community that it had and the quality of the product. And I thought, like, this is what I wanted. This is what I want to be a part of. This is what I want to do. So that's kind of my journey. And then I think like why all that ties into like the thing that I love the most about coffee is the community that gathers around coffee, and the fact that like coffee shops historically, like from the beginning of coffee shop time and to now, like they're like the public square, and you can meet so many different people, so many people different gather. Now, right now during lockdown, this is our coffee hang.
This is town hall. This is town square.
But I was just thinking about like, there's actually the other thing that I love about coffee that I've had to kind of lean into is the ritual of coffee, and like how it can be a grounding part of your morning. Of if you're brewing a slow cup, like if you're doing a pour over, like there's steps involved, and it can be a 5 to 10 minute process depending on your process, and you're not really doing anything else. You're just taking time to breathe, to pour your coffee, and then you have this moment of, I get to sit and be with myself, or you dive right into work. But for me, I sit, I be with myself, and I'm like, I love that ritual. Yeah. Right. All right, so tell me about your Starbucks experience. Come on, I want to know.
Starbucks? I had a great experience. My team was great. Yeah. We were part of Chapter's bookstore too. So probably similar experience. You're getting like the rushes from both stores. They're just like swapping. But yeah, no, I love working there, and I have nothing but good things to say about it. And then now looking back, going into like more the specialty coffee side of things, which we can probably note on a little bit, is just the priorities of like Starbucks versus like small independently owned specialty cafes. The priorities are just different, and that doesn't make either of them wrong. It doesn't make either of them I don't know, like a lot of people might like have their opinions and argue less than on either side, but they just have different priorities, and like I like what you said about models, like that word model, like it's built a certain way and it's for a certain purpose. So that was when I was there, I was just kind of like soaking it all in. I wasn't really thinking about, why is this thing like here? Like how does like Starbucks run top to bottom? I was just thinking about like, oh cool, we could just serve people, and it's just simple. Just you have a good team, just hang out, just have fun.
You weren't trying to be the next Schultz?
Yeah. No. Howard Schultz.
Howie.
The big cheese. The big bean.
Love him.
But my two biggest things, probably why I got into coffee, is Starbucks is just kind of like my first intro taste of that. Like if I didn't work at Starbucks, I might have not been in coffee now. Totally. So for me, coffee is like basically endless. Like there's no you don't hit a certain point and you're like, oh, I know everything there is to know.
Yeah.
Or, oh, I've tasted every coffee and I know exactly what every coffee tastes like. Impossible.
Yeah.
So maybe not impossible depending on how much time and money you have on your hands, but um, so just like that I don't know, I wouldn't even really call it a pursuit because it's just more like fun. Um, it's just like an endless thing. So the after going to Starbucks, I went to my first independent shop in Markham
Hmm.
and was there for a little bit, learned some more things, went to bakeout, the bakehouse in Stouffville, and was in charge of coffee program and stuff there, which is new for me to be in a position to make some decisions and uh, like have my ideas heard, which I think I value it a lot and just changed the way that I think about coffee and the way that I think about even like it's great to like have your own preferences and stuff that you love. Like I'm only drinking this coffee because it's my favorite. But when it
Yeah.
comes to like deciding that on behalf of other people,
Yeah.
you have to be thinking about the greater population, not just
Yeah.
like what your preferences are. So when like even that even comes to us like as Stock and Crown and like figuring out like roasting coffees and like figuring out what like great coffee for all people, like what does that mean?
Yeah.
For all people, not Matt. So it's like
Yeah.
figuring that out. Um
And coffee's like so subjective. I feel like this is one
yeah.
of the things I kind of like. I think people in their coffee journey are like start out and they start at like a Starbucks or Tim's or whatever, and they as they
Mhm.
progress towards specialty coffee, everyone hits that moment where they're like snobby about it, and there's like a
Mm.
reputation there. But I think once you get past that and you're like, I can appreciate good coffee without being snobby, you realize that there are some definite markers of good coffee. Like there is a way of determining that. But
Yeah.
the best coffee is the coffee you like. And so
Yes.
there's no like if
Yep.
I have clients that are like, oh, I really just like Tim's, and I'm like, I'm not Tim's, and that's
Yeah.
okay. I'm trying to be way
Right.
better than Tim's, but if that's
Right.
what you like, there's no shame in that. Go get your Timmy's, go
Yep.
get your double double or whatever it is that you like. I'll make something similar, and you can decide
Yeah.
if you wanna. I want to try
The
something new.
Wayne Gretzky 9x9.
Oh gosh, I would,
Delicious.
I would never advertise that stuff. If that's what you're drinking of coffee, we need to talk.
It's different. It's different. Yeah.
That's not.
It tastes different.
You've had one.
But I will actually no, I haven't. I haven't done that. I haven't done that.
Fair.
I care too much about my body as a
Yeah.
temple to jump into that. But I will note on specialty coffee for people that don't know that. So specialty coffee is actually for people that don't know is actually a legal term referring to the highest grade of qualities or highest grade of coffees of grade of coffee available like in the world. And these coffees go through like rigorous testing that involves like defect checks. It involves like size grading. There's like a uniformity to it, and it's scored in cupping tests, which cupping is like the standard of tasting and evaluating coffee. And all coffee farmers have to go through all of these tests to basically get their coffee into the specialty coffee market. So there's a lot of prerequisites for farmers to actually attain that level of quality. So there you have it.
Yeah.
So
And
that's
because
what
that,
me,
yeah, yeah.
sorry, go.
I was just saying because
That's what
that,
me and Natalie are, that's the industry that we're in. So for me, I'm sourcing specialty coffee, green coffee, and then Natalie, she's serving specialty coffee.
yeah,
So we're in that realm.
yeah.
So when you think about we can actually go into like first, second, and third wave in another episode because that's
I
another
we should
conversation.
definitely do that. Yes, I love that
Yeah,
conversation so much.
yeah.
Yeah,
Just in a nutshell for people, we would lie in like kind of the third, fourth wave, which we can talk about the fourth wave because the fourth wave is kind of a newer coffee
yeah,
thing. But like first, second, third wave is basically your Tim Hortons, those kind of things would be like a more of a like a first to second wave, which
Yeah.
is more focused on coffee consumption and less about coffee quality. And then as years have progressed and coffee has changed and the industry has changed, it has grown more into a third and fourth wave, which is focusing more on the background of coffee and less about the consumer and focusing more on making sure everyone's taken care of in the whole
The
supply
whole,
chain.
yeah.
Yeah. So we'll get into that another week. But
Oh,
I
that's like,
do like what you were saying before I got into that tangent about your favorite coffee is the one that you like.
yeah.
And the um I've been watching some YouTube channels of coffee people in the world, and always their like quality, they have like a whiteboard behind them, and their quality check is always like, guys, here's the quality check, and they just draw a happy face. Does it make you happy? And
That's
that's
what
like
coffee
it's
should
it. At the end of
do.
the day, that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people make it so complicated, and there's a lot of science that does go behind coffee, but it is also an art form. And so,
Yeah.
both, okay, so Matt's the roaster, I'm the barista in this supply chain,
Yeah.
and we both have different ways that that comes into play. Like for roasting, it's a science and an art. For being a barista, it's a science and an art. And so, there's so much that goes into
Right.
a cup of coffee that you can get so focused on the minute details. And I've worked with people that do that. They're so focused on the numbers. They're so focused on the technicality of, they'll pull out like refractometers, which is like a ridiculous word that no one listening should ever need to know about. Like they will
Which
measure,
to me is like fascinating, but
yeah.
to
And I'm
general
like,
coffee lovers, it's like, okay.
it's just too much sometimes. And it's like,
Yeah, it's
you're gonna have,
unnecessary.
it's not necessary for a good cup of coffee. Now, if you're trying to like be in some elite level of the coffee world, sure, go do your
Yep.
thing. But
Yeah.
I think what Matt and I both are so passionate about is their tag, like the motto for Stock and Crown: good coffee for all people. How can we make specialty coffee inclusive,
Yeah.
meet people wherever they're at in their coffee journey, and provide an incredible product with incredible service? Like
Yeah.
that's what it comes down to for us as
Yeah.
business people,
Yeah. Right.
because
Right.
there is so much to coffee, and you don't want to
Right.
exclude anyone from that being part of this
Yeah.
community.
Which
Yeah.
goes to my second point about like why did I get into it is like first it's like an endless kind of pursuit of or whatever you call it of coffee and all that that entails, but also it's really nothing without people. Like you can't. It's absolutely pointless, really,
Yeah.
without people. It's like this sitting by itself isn't going to be enjoyed by anyone.
Yeah.
So that yeah, it makes it like a really beautiful like conduit for connection and things like that. So
It
yeah,
does. And I think that's
yeah.
like at the end of the day, for my business, so for people that are watching and know Stock and Crown but don't know Rome,
Mm-hmm.
I own a coffee cart out in Bowmanville. And so our whole thing is crafting community around a cup. How do you pull people into community, serve them one of the best cups of coffee they'll hopefully ever have, but also in the midst of that, invite someone to be part of something bigger than themselves. And I think that's what I love about the coffee community is that it's global. It's all over the world. You can always be learning, you can always be growing, and you can always be relating to people. And it's just great to be a part of it. And that's why I love that we're doing these coffee with friends, because we have a lot of coffee knowledge.
Yeah.
And we are friends, so we have a lot of relation. And I love that we're able to share that with our
Yeah.
Instagram followings and whoever wants to learn and whoever wants to just be a part of what we're doing here. It's the best.
Right. Right. Yeah.
It's the
This
best.
is kind of more the introductory episode for people watching. So for future weeks, we have like a few topics that we're planning on talking about, and I think we brought up like a few more that we're going to add on that list today, which is great. But if anyone in the chat right now or wants to message either of us after, has questions and things they're wondering about coffee, we will include that in future episodes or even next week or whenever. So just DM either one of us, and we'll add that into the roster.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
This was
I
the
gotta go
best.
roast. So
Roast it up.
that's a wrap.
I gotta do admin. Not as fun.
Okay, cool.
Bye, Matt. Bye, guys.
All right. We'll talk to you guys soon. See you next week.
See you next week.